Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And this morning, Kyle Milady and Hans Vesberg presented at the City Communications Media and Entertainment Conference. And I'll make a separate video later today, but I just wanted to very briefly break down very early in the conference on what I'm hearing. So, and this came from Kyle. So, One Fiber, which is Verizon's owned fiber deployment, is coming to an end. Same with the millimeter wave. And the way it was explained that the natural build process is ending. So now they have over 40,000 nodes, millimeter wave nodes on air that the RF team can optimize and use as hotspots where they would like to use it for fixed wireless access, whatever the case, mobile. And then the One Fiber, they're about 80% completed in their core build. So now they just got to go and they got to hook it up in most of the cases. So that's good. So that means a lot of CapEx is coming out of the business. So lowering of the CapEx is anticipated to come in at a 17 to 17 and a half. Now, one thing that they weren't clear on, they said they had about another $2 billion to spend this year on that, from that C-band spend, the $2 billion. That's going to be spent, from what I'm told, in the first half of 2023, and that'll be over and forgotten. So they are still looking to come in at around $17 billion for this year, for this capital year. They're saying that they're going to have capital intensity levels of pre-2015 moving forward. And if you he said divided by the revenue, Verizon will have the lowest capital intensity spending. In 2024, the normal capital spend will be 17 to 17.5 billion, which will be divided by revenue, the lowest capital intensity in the industry, right? If you look at T-Mobile this year or last year, they spent 13.9 billion. If you divide that by their capital, they're likely overspending, just as a comparison. So there's room. There's a lot of room for Verizon to accelerate. Kyle said if there's additional markets they can clear early this year and they need to spend, they can spend on that. And that will, of course, further drive revenue and profit very, very quickly, right? They cleared 30 markets last year, and those are already on air and live, and they're already generating revenue and profits in those markets. So another thing that was very interesting, in the urban environment is where most of the fixed wireless access customers are coming from for Verizon. Why? Because they don't have a lot of rural presence on C-band. So that makes sense, right? T-Mobile is more even. They're doing a lot more growing in suburban and rural as well as urban. So that's about, I think he said about 2/3 of customers are coming from the urban core on fixed wireless access. So they did say if they need to, they can split cells, they can add additional density for fixed wireless access. But he said, and I quote, he said it very clear, they have none of that in the plans for at least 4 to 5 years. He says to get to 4 to 5 million, they can easily handle that with the current capacity that will be on air, which by the end of the year will, in most markets, will be 140 to 160 megahertz. So, I mean, I got to give it to the team that is great execution and running analysis. If they can handle that without having to build additional density and start splitting cells and don't have that in the plans for at least 4 to 5 years, I think that's a huge achievement in my opinion. So I'll leave you guys with that info. Like I said, I'll make a longer video. This is about a 45-minute video. I still have to finish the rest. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Like, share, subscribe, follow my social media outlets, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.